Welcome back, aliens. My name is Naveen Reddy, and let's continue with the series on Python. Now, till this point, we have talked about functions, right? And how do we define functions is by using def keyword, and then we mention the function name as well, right? What if I don't mention the function name? Can I do that? If I don't mention a name, it becomes anonymous, right? And that's where we can create a function in Python called as anonymous functions. Functions without name, or you can also call them as lambdas. Okay, so let's see what that mean is. So what I will do is, let's say if I want to create a function, normally what we do is we say def, and if let's say if I want to find a square of a number, so what we do is we say square, and we pass some parameters. Let's say if I pass a, and on this a I want to perform an operation which is a into a, and then the way you call them is by saying, if you say result is equal to square, you call that function, right? And you pass a number. So let me pass number 5. I want to find a square of number 5, and in this case I also want to print the value for result. Now of course this will work, right? We have done that before. It works. You get 25. But look at the code now. So we have this function definition, right? So normally when you talk about functions, we expect it will have at least 3 to 4 lines of code, or maybe 5 lines of code, right? Look at this. It only has 1 line of code. What it's doing is it is returning that value, right? So we have only one expression which is returning a value. That's it. We are wasting 2 lines with a def keyword, with a return keyword, with a name of function, right? So what if you want to use a function only once and you don't want to define the name of the function, right? And if you only have one expression, can we do that? When we talked about function, there is one thing about functions. We can pass functions to a function, okay? So that means the way you pass values, the way you pass objects, you can also pass functions, because functions are object in Python. If you talk about this square, now look at this code. It perfectly works, right? But the only problem which I have here is I will not be using the square function multiple times. I will be using that square function only once, and that too it has only one expression. So instead of defining a function, we can define a function when you want to use it directly, okay? You can simply say a colon, this is your function arguments, okay? So you have to say a, that's your arguments, the arguments which you are passing, and the operation on that argument, which is a into a, right? So we got this function which is anonymous, okay, which accepts a value a, and what you return is a into a, because you want to find a square of it. But the thing is, you need to use one more keyword here, which is lambda, because the anonymous function, they are also called as lambda expressions, or you can say lambda functions or lambda expression. You can say whatever you want. And then if you want to use that lambda, okay, the thing is, as we mentioned, that functions are objects in Python, so of course you need to assign it to someone. So you will say f equal to lambda. Now this f represents your function, okay, and you can pass that function to any function. You can, in fact, we'll be seeing that later. So we can use this function in other functions as well. We will see that. Now what I want to do is I want to find a square of 5. So look at this, we are simply saying lambda a colon a into a, and that assigned to f. Now since this is a function, we have to use a bracket, right? So whatever you pass here in 5 goes to a. We will perform some operation on that a, and then you will get it back. Now I know at this point it looks a bit weird, but hold on. Once we talk about some other functions available, how can we use lambda functions in other functions, it will be awesome, okay? But time being, this is how it works, okay? So if I run this code, you can see we got the output which is 25. Let's say if you want to define a function which will add 2 numbers, okay, we can do that. Let's say if I pass 5, 6, okay, so we are calling a function f which doesn't have a name, okay, and we are saying 5, 6, and then that value will go into 2 variables, right? So I will say a and b, and I want to perform the operation, right? So you will say a plus b. So point to remember, you can pass any number of arguments, but it should be only of one expression, which is in this case a plus b, or a into a, something like that. It should be one expression. So that's your anonymous functions, okay? So we are defining a function with the help of lambda, and it doesn't have a name. Okay, so you will understand this more when you see a next video. So in next video, we'll talk about how can we use lambdas in other functions, okay? So that's it from this video. I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know in the comment section. So that's it, everyone. Bye-bye.